So now that you've taken the first step to implementing our real estate lead system, you're probably going to want to get more training on exactly how to do it.
So we wanted to share some tips as well as make a special offer for training to give you the nuts and bolts on how to put this thing together. And there's no additional charge, no charge for this additional training. So let's take a look at some tips. And what I wanted to do, Gary, is show them some ads.
Yeah.
Right? Show them, they've got this checklist, they've got this
the
process.
5-step checklist.
That's the first step, but let's take a look at some of the ads here. Let's talk about them, and then...
You know what? When you pull up those ads, also, if you can show them the results that you got from those ads,
Yes,
that would be really helpful.
I can do that. So let's take a look at a couple of the ads as they relate to the different stages within the process. So I don't want to go through all 5 stages, but let's just zero in on the 3 right now.
Okay.
Here's an ad. And this is an actual ad that we have running, and then we have had running. It's for one of our listings. I think it's no longer listed at $6 million. I think it's listed at more like 5.75. But what we're doing here, Gary, is we're using video. So this is a video format ad,
right,
just to get people to watch it for 3 to 10 seconds. That's really
why is that? Why is the 3 to 10 second relevant?
Because once Facebook sees that they've watched it for 3 to 10 seconds, I can go back to Facebook and say, now create a different set of ads, marketing it to just the people who've watched this video for 3 to 10 seconds. Now, what does that do? Well, the fact that they've watched it, now I know they're in the audience. That doesn't mean they've been qualified, but at least I know that they are more interested in looking at real estate than the next person. So that's like the first phase. So let's take a look at this particular ad and some of the results that it gets. One of the reasons why I like this format, it's very inexpensive to get that video view. You're talking pennies on the dollar when it comes to being able to get somebody to view a portion of that video.
I mean, just compare that to some traditional marketing that we've always done in real estate, where getting marketing pieces out could cost $1 per impression, but here, we're talking about pennies.
Yeah, so in this case, I spent $70, to get it in front of almost 7,000 people. And so we're getting, all these views of people who are saying, yeah, I'm kind of interested in real estate. I'm kind of interested in real estate. And so you want to remember, the goal here is not getting the lead right now. The goal here is just audience identification. Now, once you've done audience identification, we can move on to the next step, because we've got this audience that we're building. And by the way, like if you're not doing video yet, that's okay. There's lots of apps and tools that you can use to make it to where you don't have to do like a high quality production video. There are lots of apps and tools out there. In fact, in that special training I'm going to refer to later, we give them to you. The next step that we want to do is to qualify folks by sharing expert type content, right?
Yes, and I love this ad because the expert content that we're showing here is it's a walking tour. What we're doing is we're showing them exactly what it would be like if they were touring homes with us.
Now, you can do a walking tour, you can share market stats, you can just answer questions that you might receive from your clients. One of my favorite ones that is probably one of our better performing ads is a video titled "How to Choose Your Real Estate Agent," right?
Absolutely.
So lots of this content that somebody who is more interested in would engage with. So from here, what we're doing is we're sharing these videos, and then we're getting them to click to the website to learn more information. So what does that do? Well, that qualifies them, and this ad shows you how to qualify them, and simultaneously builds trust through them interacting with our expertise and your personality. So in this case, I spent $33 to get it in front of 481 people from that larger audience that we had built.
Right, so what we're doing is we're kind of going down this funnel. We're getting people qualified, so you're not going to have as many people, but these are more highly qualified individuals.
That's the thing. It's much better to be talking to the right person than just lots of people. And what we're trying to do, usually when we're using Facebook, is we're just talking to everybody, and we're saying the same thing to everybody. Well, if we reverse that and say, all right, let me talk to everybody to find out who's interested. It's kind of like if you were at a party, right? And you're speaking with a group of friends, or you're at a dinner party. If there's like 6 to 10 people at the table, you're not talking to everybody all the time.
Nope.
But when someone hears something that you're interested in, they all might turn in, right? And so what you're doing is you're saying things to be able to, one, not be offensive, but you're saying relevant things, right? Stuff they care about, your expertise. And then someone who is interested might lean over and say, what are they talking about, right? That leaning in to hear what you're talking about, that's like getting the click. Now they're further qualified. Now, let me show you another ad, because this, after we've done those first 2 steps, now we can begin making relevant offers of help. We call this generating a lead, right?
We call this generating a lead, but what kind of offers are we talking about?
Well,
here?
this is where the most creativity must come into the process.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people might use the old home buyer guide or the what's my home worth. And those are more effective when you're marketing to this select group of people, but you want to definitely step outside of what everybody else is doing. So in this example, what we're doing is we're offering a compiled list of off-market homes for over $1 million in some of the most exclusive areas of Austin. Like for our customers, they're having trouble finding the right home, right? Well, our market is $1 million plus in the Austin market. So we're trying to be able to say, all right, if you care about $1 million plus and you're having a hard time finding it, let me show you something interesting that we have to offer. Right now, you might say, well, how do you do this off market? The details aren't so important. Like for ours, we're part of this network that gives us access to these listings if they're luxury listings. So that's the way we do that. You may or may not be able to do it. A variation of it could just be, here's a list of homes under $450,000 in this neighborhood.
So what you want to do is take whatever your potential customer base is really interested in and start offering that to them in this manner.
One thing you'll note about this format, Gary, is it's using a Facebook lead ad.
Yes, you were talking about that earlier.
So this Facebook lead ad, what it does is it keeps the entire process of the advertisement to them responding to your ad all within Facebook, so they don't have to leave Facebook. And so why is that a benefit? Well, over 80% of the traffic on Facebook happens in the app on a mobile device.
Okay.
So if they have to leave Facebook, the load time on average is 6 to 8 seconds.
And they're not going to do that.
60% of the people leave. They never see what you have to offer. And so if you keep it within the app with the Facebook lead form, it's instant,
Right.
It's an instant experience. But here's the other thing, is their contact information is pre-populated.
It's pre-populated,
Well, it's
so you don't
easy.
have to type anything.
It's
you
easy.
just tap. It's tap.
So then they get what you were making the offer for. And so another tip that we have for you is take this exact same ad, right? And then create an audience of people who opened the ad but did not submit it, which is one of the custom audiences that you can do. So if you want to implement all of these things that we've been talking about and you want to get into the nuts and bolts, we've got this special training we wanted to offer you. Now this training is specifically for you
If you can relate to this comment, why aren't people liking, commenting, and sharing my posts even when I promote them?
or maybe you've said this to yourself, I'm spending all this time on Facebook but no one reaches out to me to buy or sell their homes.
Or maybe I ran an ad on Facebook, but I didn't get any real leads from it.
Or you may be saying something like this to yourself. Facebook works for me sometimes, but it's just not a consistent source of business. Now the answers to these questions, these problems that you might have had, is not just taking some random approach or trying harder at Facebook. It's taking a bullseye approach on a proven process that we have found and our clients have found that works.
Absolutely, and it works so well that just in the past 2 weeks alone, by implementing some of these processes, it has generated me over $5 million of new business. So maybe you want similar results to this? Chris, if they do, what do they need to do next?
Just sign up for the training, click on the link or the button below. Sign up now.